Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm doing a first impressions video for a 4X game here called Rise of the Wastelands. This is by Wolfhorn Games. They sent me this prototype to do a first impressions video on. Now the crowdfunding for this game has already ended. It ended back in July or August, but the late pledge is still open, so you can still pledge and pre-order this game. So this is a 4X game, I guess in the Mad Max style. You're playing in the wasteland, and you're building up your colony, expanding to different outposts, fighting other players, fighting NPCs. So let me show you how to play this game, and then I'm going to go into my initial impressions. Okay, so this is how a game of Rise of the Wastelands is going to be set up. I'm just showing you briefly how the mechanisms work. Setting up for a 2-player game. Again, in the rulebook, you can set them up in different ways for a 3-4 player game. I'm just giving you the basic rundown of how it's going to look and how it plays. So you're going to have your capital city right here on the starting tile. This is where a ruined city where you can place your certain outposts. So your board is going to look like this. Again, there'll be cubes here to track your resources. Crystals are wild. There will also your leader mat. These are the leader cubes, and of course everyone has their own special power. The cubes will also be here. Again, I'll go over everything in a bit. And you have your combat cards and your combat modifiers. Again, this side will normally be filled in with your green tokens, but I'm just wanted to show you what the modifier card looks like. So on your turn, you're gonna have these 4 action points, and again, you can upgrade to get more, and then of course surplus. So these are the actions that you can take. So recycle is when you have an outpost out, but when you see the boxes are like this, that means that you can take, it only costs 1 action cube to do the action. When you build an outpost, you have to use all 3. Of course, explore, scout, and I'll go over what each one does. So let's go over the first. Actually, let's go over the buy phase first. So we start off pretty empty right now. You need your scouts to explore and expand on the map. So when you use the buy action, you can only use one buy action per turn. So when you look at the scout here, it's going to cost a water and an energy. So we all start with 1 energy in the beginning. So you would normally move it down to pay the resource, and you would place this next to a spot on your capital city or an outpost. So we'll place it there. Now it goes back to our turn. We could do the move action, which only allows you to move once. So you can move your scouts and your armies. So let's say I want to move here and I want to build the outpost. To build an outpost, you have to sacrifice your scout, of course, and pay the 3 cubes right here. And then you would turn this into an outpost. Now this is the retail version, but the deluxe version is going to have more building minis and buildings. So this was a water. So I would place the water cube right here to show that this is a water outpost. And of course, they all have this. So you have the armory outpost right here. Here, this is the, I just call it the gears, and this is the energy. So another thing you can do is expand the outpost to produce 2. So this is what the outpost things here are. Now to the left here is your people support, and this is your military power. As you engage in combat, this will go up, and the same with people. If it ever goes down, then you lose people support. As it goes up, you get the extra action, and of course the more down it goes, you will get another leader cube, and I'll show how they work in a bit. Now, so I spent my scout to build the outpost, but now let's just say I had a scout here and I wanted to explore. So I would choose which tile I want to explore, I flip it over, and I place it the way I want to. Now this symbol right here is an explorer token, so you would draw from the explorer card and you read what it says. So this is a creature, so you would put the creature mini or the standee out, and you would have, so this is something you can fight. When you fight it and you defeat it, you would get the benefits on this card. Now, it's not always going to be a monster or a creature that comes out. Sometimes it'll just give you like a little bit like something like a harmless settlement, and you get to choose what you want to do. Or so this is actually another standee that you would place out there. Again, you can fight it. So this is like for example, this is a it has medium combat, and that's what it takes to defeat it. Again, I'll go over combat in a bit, but I just wanted to show the other ones. Again, this is another one that you can fight. Okay, so here we go. So weak desert bandits. This is the ones that allow you to choose which one you want to do. So if sometimes it'll ask you if you want to roll a dice and fight them, and depending on what you roll is the benefit that you're going to get. So that's how explore works. Now on these tiles here, you're gonna have certain things. So this is again another ruined city you could build in. This is a toxic toxic area, which actually could be detrimental to you. So the toxic lake, you can cross them normally, but the units, they cannot end their movement on the turn. And then you have the radioactive icon. So when a radioactive icon does is that when you have a unit that starts on that area, you have to roll this die right here, and depending on what you roll, you can either lose the unit or it will get destroyed. So now also, when I do, it's a little hard to differentiate, but this is a desert tile right here. So the desert tile is actually could be very detrimental as well. They can, again, you can lose some attack from it, so you will actually be weaker attacking on the desert tile. And then of course you have mountains. I'm trying to see if I can find a mountain here. Okay, here we go. So mountains also could be a little bit of a pain, as you cannot cross or you end your movement on them, but unless you can upgrade to certain areas here that would allow you to move on mountains and stuff. So yeah, again, it made a little bit of a mess here. So let's say everything's explored, and so now we want to upgrade our. Actually, what I didn't go over is the recycle. So recycle is an action you could take. You choose any of your outposts. Let's just make believe that I built all my outposts out here. Of course, they have their shows the resource that they are generating. Now, so let's say I want to take a recycle action. I choose which outpost I want to recycle, and I would gain the resource of that, but just one. Now, if you build one of these expansions, it would actually allow you to get 2 instead of 1. And of course, if you upgrade to a level 2, you can produce 1 more. So you can generate up to 3 resource. Now, another thing here are the buildings. So another one here is the tech lab, which allows you to upgrade level 2 again, but you would have to upgrade certain ones here in order to. So like this one, you need medium combat first before you upgrade it. So when you upgrade your capital city, you would place the building right here to show that you have. Again, market allows you to buy extra. So like in the beginning, you only could buy once per turn, and that allows you to buy 2 more. And of course, the comms tower allows the propaganda, which is right here, which means you can spend the crystal, which is wild, to upgrade your people power. Of course, I didn't go over the power cards. And of course, trade allows you to spend 2 different types of resources to get a crystal. And then of course, tax, which means you have to lose 1 people power to upgrade to get 1 crystal. Now the only one I didn't go over is attack and army. So now these are your armies. When you have an army, you have to spend a bullet and an energy. And again, you could place them anywhere next to your capital or an outpost that you built. These are what you use to attack other players. Again, you can attack their scouts, which really wouldn't do anything, or you can attack their armies. So let's just say that was there, or you can attack their capital city, or again, for sake here, you can attack their outposts. Now the armies always have basic strength. The outposts have medium, and the capital city has superior strength. So they're always going to be harder to defeat. Now let's just say I want to get into a fight with my buddy here. Everyone would draw a power card here. Now power cards, what's interesting about them is they are actually give you some powerful actions that you can do. So, for example, on my turn, I can choose this action right here, but then I would have to discard it. Now, if I want to fight, this is what that it would give me. So, any basic unit could have 1 to 4 strength. Medium would be 2 to 5, and superior would be 3 to 6. So, depending on what I'm fighting, that is what they could potentially have as a modifier. Of course, anytime you unlock any of these abilities here, the strength would be unlocked as well. So you would add it to your fight. Another thing you would have is these 4 combat cards. It goes from 0 to 3. Now, the thing with this though, is you see it has the leader stars up there. That means you have to spend your leader cubes. And once you spend them, you cannot get them back. They are gone for the rest of the game. Of course, you have them here as well, but you can gain them from here and here also. So you have to spend them wisely. Of course, the 0 is going to be like a bluff card. So if because you want to bluff, you could use the 0 card. Again, depending on who wins, so that's going to increase this. So anytime you're the attacker, you're going to go up 1 on your military. If you tie in combat, the defender gets 1. If you defeat an army, you would get +1. And of course, you get to roll this loot die to see which resource you are going to get. You get no rewards for defeating the scouts. And when you defeat an outpost, which are these, you would get another +1 here. And you get to roll 2 loot die. And if you defeat a capital, which is very hard to do. Now, I should mention, when you defeat the capital areas, they do not get destroyed. You just move up on the track. Everything else would be destroyed, and they would have to be purchased again. But yeah, going back to defeating the capital, you're going to move up 2 on here, and you're going to roll the 2 loot die. Now, what I didn't go over is how to win the game, because I wanted to get everything else out. There are going to be these achievement cards right here. Now, in the beginning of the game, you're going to just go after the top. After a few times, when people achieve these achievements here, you have to go for the bottom one. On your board, you're going to have these your influence tokens. So anytime you get an achievement, at the end of everyone's turn, when everybody's done, in clockwise order, you're going to place your disc on any achievements that you have accomplished. Then, at the beginning of the turn, before we even take our actions, in clockwise order, we decide where we want to place these cubes on which opponent's map. So I would place it here. Now, if my opponent, if this happens to my opponent, they're gonna draw an extra power card just for that happening. Again, I'm just showing you a 2-player game, but if this was 3 or 4, you choose who you want to place it on. But you also have to be mindful they're getting a power card when you place that on there. The game's going to end when one player has placed 5 of them, but it is possible to be placing more out there, so that in case that there is a tie, whoever placed most influence discs will win the game. So that is essentially Rise of the Wastelands. That's how you play. I mean, I didn't go over every little thing, but that is just the basic rules on how to play this game. So let's go back and I'll discuss my my initial impressions of it. All right, so that's how you play Rise of the Wastelands. Not that complicated, right? And that is what I want to get into first. This is a very easy game to get to the table. The setup was very easy, very quick. There's not much to it. The game itself, our first game took about 2 hours, 45 minutes. But I think once you know how to play, once you know how everything works, you can get this game 90 minutes, 2 hours. It can play that quick, especially if you're playing with somebody who's advanced. They could definitely blow everyone out of the water and probably finish the game in about an hour and a half, depending on how many people you're playing with. I do recommend playing with 3 or 4 players. I think 4 is the sweet spot. But a lot of positives with this game. One, I like that it's streamlined. It's easy to take. This is not a gateway game. I'm just saying for the 4X genre, this is a great game to start with. Again, I taught the rules to people one person never even played a 4X game, and they caught on very quickly. Again, it's not a hard game at all. The actions right there, very simple. Use your cubes, pick which one you want. It tells you how many it costs. This is how it works, and that's it. It's very, very simple. Another thing I like, it's very strategic, and you know me, when it comes to 4X, I love my combat. The combat might not happen often in this game. This could be a straight Euro for you. You could just concentrate on building up your outposts, building up your armies. Look at what the achievement cards are. So I can see games where nobody fights each other. Again, I think that's more somebody who's more advanced that would happen with, and they would just concentrate on that. But you might only fight 1 or 2 times because you have to be smart in how much of those leader cubes you want to use, because once you use them, you lose them. So, like, do I want to go all in and really kick the crap out of this guy, destroy, mess up his capital city, blow up his outpost? It's not going to happen often. You probably won't fight more than once, 2, I think the most 3 times. And so, you have to be very strategic and when you want to attack. And I kind of like that. I like that planning ahead. And that's what you're going to see in this game a lot. Again, the upgrades are really cool. Again, this is just the retail version. Even the retail version look good. With the deluxe, you're going to have buildings and minis. So I can only imagine how that's going to look. But yeah, the upgrades were really cool. It upgrades your recycle, the movement, all that. With the 4 players, the map will be bigger, so I think you'll see a lot more exploring. I do think, when it came to the achievements, I think some people might find it a little too simple, and that's the reason why it starts off like it'll be like, oh, I have like 2 or 3 armies out on the board, or have 3 outposts. But I think that's just to kickstart the game. Again, as it goes on, you're gonna have to use the more complex try to achieve the more complex on the bottom. I think some people might complain about the how quick the game gets going, because in the beginning you're just building your outposts. Okay, you sacrifice a scout. Now you got to build it again. That's mostly what we were doing in the beginning. We weren't really attacking each other. So the combat stuff might come a little later. Again, you might have a strategy that you'll be like, all right, I'll build this outpost. I'm going straight into the army. I'm going to mess this guy up. Or you want to attack the NPCs. I did like how the map tiles, how they had those little like danger areas, like the radioactive areas, the desert. It's strategic on how you want to move. Do I want to take the risk and move the my army to that radioactive area? And again, when you explore, you can move the tile around any way you want. So you could be like, you know what, my outpost is right here. If somebody wants to attack it, they got to land in this radioactive spot, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I mean, I liked it so far. Really, the only thing I probably couldn't complain about this game is the way, again, in the beginning it could start maybe a little slow. And again, it is a streamlined 4X game, so you're not going to compete with games like Eclipse or Clash of Cultures and stuff like that. But this is a great game. If you like combat, if you like games like Civilization, but you don't want to spend the whole day playing games like that, you definitely get your money's worth with Rise of the Wastelands. And again, you don't have to get the deluxe edition, because the retail edition looks just as good. But yeah, I really like this game. I do highly recommend it. I'll be posting the link to the late pledge in the description. If you guys have any questions about this game, feel free to leave it in the comment section. I always respond to everyone. I want to thank Wolfhorn for sending me this prototype. I had a lot of fun playing with it. Again, please like, subscribe, help this little channel grow. Again, like I said before, this was a prototype, so some things might change at the end. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until next time, keep playing.